everyone, it's Dr. G again. It's so great to be moving through this marketing strategy course with all of you. And what we're going to focus on today in the marketing mix and how we develop sustainable competitive advantage through offering innovation is how do we develop a great strategy for the products and services that we offer to the segments that we've defined that are most likely to consider us. So here's what we're going to discuss today. We're going to take a look at offering innovation and how it leads to the sustainable competitive advantage to keep our firm strong for the long haul. We're going to look at a concept called the innovation radar, which helps us look beyond just product features itself, but holistically how we can create a competitive advantage through the offerings that we have. We will look at offering and innovation strategies and the equity that offerings have to our benefit. And then I'm going to make a short nod to blue ocean analysis, which we're going to look in more closely at the next video. So hold tight, we're going to learn a lot about offerings and how important they are to your firm. So let's get started. I wanted to take a moment to describe to you some really great firms. So innovation in offering is a philosophy that many companies have. And what I mean by that is oftentimes you will have companies who create a widget or an idea, and they take that, they go to market with it, and then they run and iterate off of that particular product that or offering that they have. There's other companies like the 3M company or Target who use incubation and innovation as part of their culture. And what I mean by that is the 3M company, which is located in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis. So is Target for that matter. My hometown, yay, Minneapolis, Minnesota. These two companies are great in that 3M actually has a philosophy and has for a long, long time on ensuring that all employees spend a great number of hours in their work week thinking about innovation and what the company can do next. So imagine yourself as an employee of the 3M company, and 30% of your time is dedicated on innovating. That's important to them. Now, Target also has an incubation area where they bring in firms and people who want to incubate ideas right on site to help them get a start on offering something that is new and valuable to their target segments. So these are two examples of companies that have innovation built into their strategic plans, ongoing and ongoing. So there's some other things I wanted to nod to. So I think many of you have seen over the last several years, there's different subscription models. We're in a subscription economy right now where we've shifted more from purchasing particular items like we have in the consumer goods area to how do we leverage an annuity product where you get to provide customers with value forever and ever until they decide we're done, or until you have something better to provide to them. So there's things like wines and subscription services and healthy foods that come to all packaged and pre-packaged coming to your homes. So there's lots of ways that you can innovate beyond just an offering itself or products and services. It could be the way you deliver products, and a subscription is a great example of how you can take a product and making the innovation be how it's delivered to the customer. I have to make a nod to the MBA. So when we were in the midst of a pandemic, the MBA was one of the first firms to really take a look at how are we going to provide entertainment to the masses in a safe environment. So they created this bubble, which really was innovative and one of its kind. They took all these complexities of the virus and how are we going to keep people safe and how are we going to get food there and how are we going to create this environment where we can deliver our offering in a new unprecedented, extremely different way. And so the MBA bubble was an amazing example of innovation in how do we deliver a product to people in a way that is new and innovative and something that we frankly really needed in society at that particular time. So there's lots of different companies who focus on innovation, as I mentioned before. This is just a nod from the Boston Consulting Group, who has determined the most innovative companies. The most being Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Samsung, Netflix. Now, if you remember, the last time we had a video on branding, you noticed that these are many of the same companies that have the strongest brands. So branding and innovation often go together. So it's really critical for you to think about for your firms, how do you create an offering that is innovative based on the times that we're in and the changing, ever-changing needs of our customers. So in reality, most firms look at business pressures as short-term. So innovation is difficult in the marketing arena because as marketers, we are pressured to deliver on goals, deliver on objectives, deliver on making sure we meet our revenue obligations each quarter. So what happens in that environment, because the street is looking at what the stock price is and they're looking at all of these nuances in terms of how well you're performing, is sometimes short-term business goals negate the ability to innovate long-term, which really can be very difficult. So CEOs are going to look to you to deliver on your returns on your investment in 6 to 12 months, where we know resources for innovation take long-term initiatives and not short-term targets. So accounting practices also impact market-based decisions. So you have to realize that as a marketer, you need to be able to convince your management team, convince your finance and accounting teams that innovation is a long-term strategy and we must keep focused on it to have a sustainable competitive advantage for the long haul. So what exactly is offering innovation? It's really a broad term that captures both tangible products and intangible products provided by the firm. So you'll remember way back when we talked about segmentation and targeting, we don't look at products in a particular singular tangible or intangible item. Offering is all of the value that you provide to a particular target audience. So it's not just the widget you make, it's not just the service you provide, it's everything of value that they are willing to pay for. And the reason this is so critical is that sometimes customers will pay a premium for an overall offering as opposed to just looking at what particular profit margin am I making on a particular widget or product that I have. So the overall offering is linked to branding and relationships that help us not only provide loyalty or capture loyalty to customers, but it gives us an advantage where it's easier, it's less easy to copy an offering which is broad over time than it is to copy the features and functions of a particular widget. So let's take this for an example. So this is from your textbook. So long ago when laptops came out, there were a variety of laptops, and generally in a manufacturing environment and research and development, when there's a new product, you come up with a minimum viable offering, which is great. And you try to serve the needs of most of the people so that you can reduce your cost of goods sold. Well, what happened in this state is that not all customers are alike, as you know. And imagine yourself working for a large corporation where you might have accounting people who have a need for maybe a particular type of laptop. You might have salespeople who are on the road a lot and have to have something that's more portable. You might have creative people who need more engine power and different software to be able to create and deliver the services that they need to. So Dell took advantage of looking at unique needs of those functional areas within a business and created a build-to-order laptop. So instead of having 50,000 laptops with all of the same features, Dell took advantage of the changing needs and the differing needs of particular organizations and built to order. So their innovation was less about what are the tools and the features and functions that can be put in a laptop, and more around what is that customizable piece that we can deliver to the right audiences within a firm. So what is innovation? It's creating a substantial new value for customers and the firm by creating and changing one or more dimensions of the business. So it's more than just product technology, features, functions. It must generate new value for a customer, and it must involve differentiation. It cannot be a copycat. It cannot be the same thing as another company's product offering. And we call this sustainable competitive advantage. So think about, I talked about Dell. Think about Starbucks. Now, long ago, before every company in the world had free Wi-Fi, Starbucks, it was really focused around the customer experience that they had within their brick and mortar stores. So they invited people and into their stores and gave them reasons to hang around and reasons to build community. So their innovation was, we are going to make our stores pleasing. We're going to invite communities in there. We're going to encourage people to hang around, not just get your coffee and run. We're going to have our baristas are going to know your name. They're going to get to know you. They are going to build brand value. We're going to provide you Wi-Fi so you can sit there and work all day if you want. So they took the concept of coffee and really built an entire experience of value. So the persons who's willing to pay $5 or $6 for a cup of coffee, they feel there's a value to that. And think about Apple and how they changed an entire industry based on the way they deliver music. So no longer did you have to buy an entire album through a CD. You could then use an iPod back then when Apple, when iTunes was first available, and it changed the way that we consume music today and purchase music today. So innovation doesn't necessarily have to be just a widget itself. It could be experience. So what we look at when we look at who of the offering, what can be innovated? So innovation could be all of the things that we look at in marketing, not just the mix itself, but also the strategy, the what we offer. Our traditional products and service offerings. It could be who we're targeting. Maybe we have different offerings for different niches. That's why segmentation, targeting, and positioning is so important. How you sell your products to consumers. Where do you distribute them? Are you going to distribute them online? Are you going to distribute them through a subscription? Through a brick and mortar. So you can innovate on those types of delivery channels as well. And obviously where you sell, how you sell, who you sell to. So one of the things that our text talks about is a concept called the innovation radar. And what they do is they slice innovation into who, what, where, why, and when, and all of the different things that a firm can do to innovate. So it could be what the firm offers. So our products, the platform, our solutions. It could be who the customer is. Maybe it's we're going to focus on specific customers who like an experience versus customers, of a particular niche. How we sell to customers. Is it going to be we're going to get the products to you very quickly? Or are we going to set them on your doorstep? Are we going to have a high touch service model where you're going to come in and we're going to create a whole experience around it? Or is it where we sell to customers? So you're looking at, when you innovate, it's all of these various attributes that you can look at. So let's look at how this works. So here's an example of an innovation radar. Now Starbucks, as you know, as I mentioned earlier, they're really focused on their brand, they're focused on their customer, the who, and they're focused on where they're going to have their locations. So if you look at the radar here, this is the red shaded areas is where they focus their resources. And in the case of Starbucks, they're really focusing on who their customer is, what solutions they have based on the customers that they're targeting, the whole experience around what will it be like to have a cup of coffee in that particular store. Will I have Wi-Fi? Will the baristas know my name? They really focus on the who. They do focus some on where they're going to place their stores. They have their own stores. They have stores within, Target, Barnes & Noble, other brick and mortar, some grocery stores. But so they do spend some time on that, and they focus on their overall brand. So this is an example when you look at all of these different attributes or things you can focus on in terms of innovation. They're focused mostly on the who. Now let's look at Walmart. Walmart is different. Walmart focuses on how quickly we can deliver the products and services and always have our lowest cost provider. So they focus on the where. They focus on how are we going to get the products and services into our stores at the least amount of price. So they focus on the manufacturers that they work with, the distributors, getting, very much the supply chain, getting items from here to there into the hands of the customers. They don't focus so much on, what is the experience like when you go into a Walmart. It's always pretty consistent, but it's not like a luxury experience or even a place where you're going to want to go hang out, right? So they're focusing on the what products they sell, their product mix within the stores, and the ability to get you a product at a reasonable price. And that is the how. So you will see, even with the change in the pandemic, you're going to start, what we've started to see is stores like Walmart and other grocery stores, they're starting to look a little bit more at the who, because now the way that we purchase products, people are more concerned about safety. And so you will see Walmart starting to be more into how are we going to deliver the products to your home. We will have, pickup stations at our particular store. So they're starting to look a little bit more at the who as the change of the needs of our customers evolve. So that is Walmart. Let's look at a few more innovative companies. I think this is kind of fun. This is from a Fast Company, and they're looking at some of the innovative companies in 2020. So if you look at this, if we look at this from a marketing perspective, White Claw, it's one of those fizzy alcoholic seltzer waters. And White Claw is considered the most innovative company because they took what I would consider a frou-frou, lady, princessy product, where most, the stereotype when you're looking at segmentation is most men don't like frou-frou products, at least according to their research. So what they did was they took a product and they genericized the way, the look and feel of the product and created it to be more elegant, more simple black and white logos to showcase men and women, together in their advertising. So less about the taste good, all of that, more about it's okay for men to drink our product. So that's innovation. Blue Hacker One, what they did was this was a kind of an innovation. They put the people who were, let's say, criminals doing wrong and turning their skills into how do we do good with hacking? How do we protect the Pentagon? How do we protect big financial firms, Uber? How do we put hackers to work for the positive? So that's another innovation. Let's see here. We've got Tesla. Tesla claimed a role in the electric vehicle race. Microsoft Teams, a way that how do we communicate with each other in the world of the pandemic. So you can see that the offerings that we have doesn't necessarily need to be a product per se. It can be how we deliver our services in a new and innovative way. And here we've got Snap, the world's most innovative company, setting the social agenda. So a social media firm. Here's I just wanted to give you a little snapshot. This is in your book, but I wanted to show you some examples of the innovation radar and so how some companies are using of the 12 different attributes you can focus on, how they can use these attributes to be able to deliver value to customers beyond the traditional features and benefits. So why do we do this, or how do we do this? So now you know that, like brand equity, offer equity is also a sustainable competitive advantage. We want to provide value holistically to the consumer, and we call that offering equity. We do that through creating new offerings that motivate customers to switch from another product or to do something they've never done before. That's getting them off the status quo. We also try to acquire new customers or services as we enter new markets. And then finally, we enhance the firm's brand even if customers don't buy the new offering. So as you saw the world's most innovative companies, you may not actually use their products and services, but they're enhancing the brand as being an innovative company. So there is some equity in just the awareness of that. So how do we go about doing this? We do this in two main ways. First is we help the firm develop innovative offerings by getting input from customers. And in forecasting trends, what's happening out there in the world? What are those external factors that are influencing the dynamics, the changing dynamics of the customer? So we focus on needs and problem states. And if we focus on needs and problem states of actual consumers, then we innovate around that. Instead of coming up with an idea that we believe is unique, creating it and finding a customer, it is completely opposite. We work on solving problems for people. Once we do that, it's our responsibility to offer and launch a new product to generate sales that are profitable. So not only is it marketing's responsibility to understand the needs, the wants, the desires, and solve the problems for customers through our offerings, it is our responsibility to deliver that at a profitable way to our organizations. Many good products fail. I will say the majority of products fail, and most of them are due to poor planning, poor product launches, and not really understanding the customer's needs. So I'm going to give you a bit of an example of an old-fashioned, still being used today, way to innovate offerings. This is called a stage gate model. A stage gate model is when you have various processes in a product or an offering development process, research and development, and you go through each of these stages, and at each stage there is a committee of people who give you a go or no go answer. So imagine, you have an idea, and then it goes to a committee, and the committee vets the idea and says yay or nay, pass the baton on to the next stage. Once it goes into the next stage and you do your due diligence, you build something, then there's another committee. So there's a series of stages where at every point in time, when you get to a gate, there's a go or no go. This is an antiquated approach. It's still used in many manufacturing companies today, but unfortunately what happens is this slows down the process of innovation, and it also is very time consuming and expensive. But I will share with you, as it is in your book, there's a concept definition phase where ideas go into a gate. And then they're vetted through a committee, and the committee decides whether it's a go or no go. So your idea might, maybe 4 or 5 might go into, okay, we think we've decided that these are going to be the ideas we're going to go with. So then it goes into design and development, where you start to look at things like, what is the financial viability of the product? What are we going to develop? What are the features we're going to use? We will do a little bit of market research. We will maybe create a prototype. And then we create another plan, we give it to the committee, and they say go or no go. Well, some of them may go, some may not go. It could get killed at any phase. And then it's validation, production, we get manufacturing involved. And then finally, there is another stage that is, what is your go-to-market strategy? Is everything ready? And then maybe one out of all those ideas might make it through. As I mentioned, that is kind of an antiquated product development process. We now, in more of a creativity and innovation, which we will do look at next in Blue Ocean Strategy, we're going to look at more of an agile function or way of creating a minimum viable product to be able to get your product to market without having it take so long and so many hoops to jump through, where you might, in my case, I've worked on products where we've spent $1 to $2 million and never launched because we were too late, it was too expensive, or there was other opportunities that bumped our product out of the way. So that said, hopefully you have a better understanding now of offering innovation, why it's important, the innovation radar, some of the strategies that we use, why offer equity and its benefits, and then the next time we get together, we're going to talk about Blue Ocean Strategy. So take care, and I hope you have a wonderful day. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to ping me via cell, text me, send me a note via Canvas, and we'll get together and I'll get back to you on all the answers that you have. So take care and have a fantastic day.